Good evening, guys. We'll just start. Right. Okay, the paragraph for today is on global livability index, which one seems the best place to live in the world, while three remains the worst this year as well. The 2024 index, which came out today, rates towns around the world based on things like education, healthcare, culture and environment, stability, and infrastructure. All right, ready for the first question of the day? Which organization one conducts the index? Right, Economic Intelligence Unit. You should remember it specifically for this organization, for this index. I don't think it releases much else, but yeah, do remember it. I see the rest of you went for the more bigger organizations, but yeah, for livability index, it's Economics Intelligence Unit. Second question: which city is two? Right, most of you went for Vienna. I see no one went for Calgary. I know all these are top five index. Copenhagen is in Denmark, Vienna is in Austria, Calgary is in Canada, Zurich is in Ireland. Yeah. So, related question. Let's see. Two had perfect scores in four categories. Which was the fifth one, in which they did not have a perfect score? Right, culture and environment is the fifth one, as it didn't conduct many sporting events recently, so it didn't get a perfect score on that. But on the rest, as well as stability, it got a perfect score. Now we've seen which is the best one, but which city is the worst one? That's the incoming question. Which city is three? Uh, I don't know why the first option is Kerala. That was supposed to be Karachi, but yeah, I guess easier for you now. Kerala is not a city. Yeah, that was supposed to be Karachi, but yeah, most of you got Damascus, anyways. Some of you still went for Kerala, which is interesting, which is very interesting. But yeah, definitely not. Kerala is not a city. Yeah, and all of Karachi, Kiev, Caracas, Damascus, all bottom tens. Uh, Karachi is in Pakistan, Kiev is in Ukraine, Caracas is in Venezuela, and Damascus is in Syria. So yeah. Another city related question, I believe. Yes. Which city dropped rankings this year due to ongoing conflict? Conflict which is quite recent. So yeah, I think most of you should get it easily. Yeah, Tel Aviv, Israel, quite good city ordinarily, but since the Gaza war, or yeah, fifth Gaza war, you could say, started, has dropped quite quickly. But the rest are bottom 10 cities. So yeah, Lagos is in Nigeria. Rest two were in the previous question. So yeah, let's look at the quiz leaderboard. Krishna is doing quite well, but uh, Siddharth is also decent. The ahead, rest are quite close. But let's see what happens after we go over the one-liners. Alert-based questions. First one: Hong Kong was returned to China by the UK on right 1st July 1997. Quite divided, I see. But yeah, basically the UK had taken it on a 99-year lease, so eventually they had to return it. They didn't want conflict, unnecessary conflict with China, just to hold on to a city across the world, especially when they had lost pretty much all the colonies. So yeah, it was returned under two systems, one nation, one country, as it's called. So the integration into China will be slow. It has picked up the pace recently, but it was eventually supposed to merge into one unit anyways. So yeah, but let's see what happens in the future. Anything could happen. Question 7. Under which treaty has the International Seabed Authority been formed? If you recognize the treaty, it's an easy answer. You just need to recognize the treaty. If you don't, then you'll have problems. Yep, it is the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea. Obviously, I didn't go for the full form, that would have been way too easy. Rome Statute is the one for the International Criminal Court. ICCPR, that's the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. There is a similar convention for social and economic rights as well, International Convention on Social and Economic Rights. A Montreux Convention relates to the Bosphorus Strait. Um Under the state, Turkey agrees to basically allow all civilian passage, but maintains control over military passage of ships. It was signed just a few years before World War I started, 1936-37, I believe. Earlier, that area of Turkey used to be demilitarized under peace treaty signed after Turkish War of Independence, which happened right after World War One. That's a whole different topic, though, so I won't go too much into it. But yeah, which country imposed the world's first carbon tax specifically on livestock emissions? There have been a lot of carbon taxes, but on livestock emissions, this is the first country we're talking about. Denmark is in fact the right answer. A lot of people went for the neighboring countries, Norway, Sweden, but yeah, Denmark is the right answer. Ninth question. Who was the chief draftsman of the Indian Constitution? The options are going to be all people involved in the making of the Indian Constitution, but I'm specifically asking the chief draftsman. You should definitely go over and look how else were the other three important. Um, S.N. Mukherjee. B.R. Ambedkar is called the father of the Indian Constitution, but he wasn't the chief draftsman. He was the president of the drafting committee. A difference is S.N. Mukherjee and B.N. Rao, if I recall correctly, were not direct members of the Constitution Assembly. They were similar to what an IS officer in the legislative department would do today. They assisted the politicians, the representatives in making the Indian Constitution. The chief draftsman was S.N. Mukherjee because he determined the exact legal language which would work best, right? Putting complex legalese into relatively simple terms. Uh, yeah, and Benegal Rao is the one. See, you might have heard Indian Constitution as described as collection of borrowings. You definitely read about which parts it has so-called borrowed from other constitutions, but it wasn't randomly borrowed or grabbed and mix something up, right? It was all the constitutions and major constitutions of the democratic world, you could say, was studied by B.N. Rao. He read through all the constitutions and selected and chose the best parts of them to form the basis of the Indian Constitution. So that's why you might see parts from even countries like the Republic of Ireland and South Africa, because B.N. Rao went through them and took those parts. So yeah, it wasn't some people as jokes or whatever denigrate the constitution for having parts from other constitutions, but it was a very careful and methodical exercise, and we have Sir B.N. Rao to thank for that. In fact, B.N. Rao became the first Indian to go to the International Court of Justice. Another important fact you could say about him. Benegal Rao, full name. Right. We'll move to the last question then. Wrap things up. Who won the Gyanpith Award for 2023? So it was a joint award in 2023. All the options have been Gyanpith Award winners. Gyanpith Award is India's top literary award. Very important to know. Gulzar and Rambhadracharya is the answer. Gulzar for his Urdu literature and Rambhadracharya for his Sanskrit literature. Amitav Ghosh and Nilmana Fukan have individually won Gyanpith Awards in recent years, but not 2023. So, right, that brings us to the end. Let's see the leaderboard. Right, great effort by Krishna for topping the board today. Nice work by Siddharth, Akhil, Rishi, and the rest as well. That brings us to the end of the stream. Right, thank you everyone. I'll close now.